It looks like Lucifer's dad is smiting me right now or something. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Season 2, Episode 2 of Lucifer. Yeah, sorry for the lighting and everything just right off the bat. I'm recording this a lot later than I normally record things at. It's pretty much the time I have available to do so today. Normally I would record things a lot earlier, but I woke up late and yada yada yada. Just didn't get the opportunity to record as early as I would have liked. So the light is coming in through the window, through like the cracks in the curtains and stuff as well, and it's creating weird patterns on my face and shirt. So yay. It'll definitely adjust as time goes on. So by the time we get to the afterthoughts, it'll probably look very different. By the time we finish the afterthoughts, it'll also probably look different from then. So gonna be a weird one today. But I think we're about to get into a little weirdness in this series because Lucifer's mom is now apparently here. I guess, if that is what's going on. And it's not just another trick. Because the first episode had Lucifer and Amenadiel, to a lesser degree, searching for their mother, who has escaped from hell and is, I guess, just around somewhere. They're trying to find her based on these different clues and opportunities and stuff, but nothing is really turning out right. Nothing is leading them in the right direction. And so Lucifer kind of almost reluctantly gets pulled back into the mundane day-to-day cases that he was normally helping solve. But then at the end, she just comes into his place, and he's like, "Oh shit, what's happening here?" And she's like freaked out and like hurt or whatnot, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? And it's like, because I didn't think that they would find the mother anytime soon, like maybe mid-season, but I was not expecting episode 1. I thought that was going to be a longer story arc, and I guess it technically could be if this is not actually his mother. But then who the fuck is this? Because she very much knew who he was right off the bat. And the fact that the episode ended with almost kind of that revelatory moment, it's like, if it's not the mother, then what the hell is going on here? And that would be a pretty cheap, pretty rude fake out to drop on us in the very first fucking episode of the season. But if this is the mother, what are they going to do this entire season then? I guess the season is longer than the first season, but it's like, I don't know like how they could stretch all of this out. So there's got to be something else that's going to happen during the season as well, other than just the mother stuff. Maybe we'll bring in other angels. Maybe we'll bring in God. Who is this forensics chick? Because I was thinking that she might have been the mother, based on conversations that were being had and stuff. But apparently not. But maybe if this woman isn't the mother, maybe she is. Maybe the forensic lady is. I don't even fucking know anymore. I don't. All I know is the forensic lady's kind of suspicious. Also, Amenadiel's losing his mojo. What does that mean? Is it because he had a relationship with a demon? Like, physical relationship with a demon? Is it because he spent so much time on Earth? Is he just, like, confused? Or is his powers going away because of proximity situations, like with Lucifer his powers being like dampened because of Chloe. But then whose proximity? Because the powers were happening when he was around Lucifer, right? But then they stopped working again. Like, no, they stopped working when he was at the police station. But then they stopped working again on the rooftop when he was alone. I don't fucking know. I guess we should just get into this and I guess find out, see what happens and all. So let's move on to the reaction. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, with 2 on Wednesday. We have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And we have gaming content over on the Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day, Horizon Forbidden West every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, Beyond Two Souls on Wednesdays and Sundays, and Poppy Playtime every Saturday. And don't forget to click that link in the description to follow it to today's reaction. I do redirect everything on the channel just due to copyright. And on top of that, don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel and the like button to help support. It means a lot, and I thank you so much for tuning in. That being said, let's get to today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I don't know what to think about Lucifer's mom here. Is she telling the truth at the end? Is she lying? Was she just smugly looking at God as like I got you back or something? What's the deal here? So, from what we gathered here, Lucifer believes her story, and what she said is that when he rebelled, God was so mad he was going to just completely destroy him, wipe him from existence kind of shit. She was the one who came up with the idea to send him to hell instead, as a punishment, but also to literally save his life. And he did believe this. And this ties in with the entire thing that's told throughout the episode about Chloe wanting to teach her daughter a lesson regarding the doll and everything, not wanting to, fold to her manipulation and plans and plotting to get a new doll and everything through destroying the old one. She wanted to be a good mother by doing something that she wouldn't necessarily like. Doing something that she knew would make her resent her a little bit, but would be ultimately good for her. And this is a thing that I've maybe struggled with a little bit in my life, because there's levels to this. Parents will always say that what they do is for the good of their children, but the problem is abusive parents say the same thing. Parents who abuse their children, whether through physical force or other things like that, even to extreme degrees, a lot of times will say that they're doing it for the good of their children. Oh, I'm teaching my child how the world is. The world's cruel and terrible, so they'll be ready when they go out into it if I treat them like this. I've literally heard that people have said that kind of shit as an excuse to horrifically abuse their children. It's fucked up beyond reason. But the specific instance that's being showcased in here, like with Chloe and her daughter, I do agree with Chloe on. Because it's made clear that her daughter Trixie was manipulating this. She was, very smartly, mind you, trying to manipulate her mother into getting her a new doll. And if she had caved in and done so, or if Dan did so, or if she accepted Lucifer doing so, it would have undermined the point that she has to teach Trixie that you can't do this. You can't manipulate people to get what you want just out of jealousy for what someone else might have. And yeah, it's going to be a response that the kid's not going to like. But it's not abusive or anything. It's not like cruel. It's just trying to teach your child that they can't get things through, negative means. There's some cases where a child will temporarily resent a parent for doing stuff like this. And you just got to make sure that outside of this you still treat them with love and care and even respect. Yes, parents should treat their kids with respect. Believe it or not, there's some parents who say, no, we're the parents. We don't have to respect them. They have to respect us. It's like, fuck you. No. Respect your kids too. It goes both ways. Like, do you want to be abandoned by your kids when they become adults? Because that's going to happen if you treat them like that. But point, I'm not going to get into this entire spiel, even though it's actually kind of relevant. The point is, I do agree with Chloe and the way she's handling this. And we're kind of seeing that might be the same thing going on with Lucifer's mom. She did something that she knew he wouldn't like. That she knew would cause him to resent her. Maybe she didn't expect it to go this far, for it to be this bad, but she knew that it would cause trouble between them. But she did it to literally save his life. This doesn't explain why she just sat back and let a lot of other stuff happen, because apparently there was trouble brewing even before that. But it explains why she, quote unquote, let God send him to hell, even though now we know apparently it was her choice in the first place, which is why she stood back and let that happen. That doesn't answer why she was sent to hell. That mystery is still up in the air. Now, we also got in this episode the case of the woman whose body Lucifer's mama is in. This lady was a lawyer and everything, and one of her fellow lawyers tried to kill her because he was passed up for a promotion despite having a Harvard law degree, because she was sleeping with the guy who she actually promoted. Because this lady is not loyal, we'll put it. She was also involved in drug stuff because she was undercover and everything, which I don't think lawyers typically do. Cops go undercover in these places, and one of the guy she was undercover with, to mind you, was a cop informant who was undercover to get information. Though the drug kingpin actually knew about this and was feeding false information. It was this entire thing. But the point is, the other lawyer did end up killing her. And so, even after he was confronted and everything, he went back and tried to finish the job after she used the company credit card to buy a shit ton of cheese. I can't blame her. It's the right way to use a credit card. like I talked about it briefly in the reaction, but if you haven't seen a lot of my content before, I've talked about it before, but just to reiterate for anyone new, I fucking love cheese. I'll occasionally just buy a block of cheese from the store, and I'll just slice off a piece of cheese as a snack every now and again. Just on its own, not with crackers or anything. I'll just slice off a piece of cheese, bring it back to the couch over here, and sit here nibbling on it. Because I just love cheese. I also just love bread too. I can snack on bread without anything on it. just because I like the taste of bread. Some people might find that weird, but it's like, I mean, yeah, bread with like butter or cream cheese or whatever else, depending on the type of bread and stuff, is great. But I also just love bread. I'm weird. I have the taste buds of a 12th century peasant or something. I have no idea if that time frame is even sensical at all, by the way. I just said 12th century just to say something. Um, but yeah, it's like just seeing her coming out with like that entire shopping basket of just a shit ton of cheese, a metric shit ton of cheese. It's like, ma'am, I thought you were kicked out of heaven because I'm seeing heaven right here. And speaking of a line like that, I really do not mean to be rude to this actress. I'm really, really not trying to be rude here. But they make a really big point. They hammer in this episode that she's like supposed to be like like unreasonably drop dead gorgeous. And I'm just looking here like, again, she's very attractive. She's really pretty. She's not drop dead gorgeous. And I know it's subjective. I understand that beauty is inherently subjective and that different people are going to look different levels of beautiful to, well, different people. What is attractive to me might not be attractive to someone else. For example, my sister and I, there are different people that I find attractive that she doesn't, and there's people that she finds attractive that I don't. And that's just how it's going to go. And I've heard people like say I'm weird for example, I think Cameron Diaz is super fucking pretty. And people are like, she looks so weird and goofy though. You think that's like super pretty? It's like, what the hell are you talking about? She looks weird and goofy. She's gorgeous. It's like, it's just a difference of perspective. Because different people look for different things within, well, others in terms of attractiveness. Some people are really attracted to high cheekbones, for example. Some people are really attracted to chiseled jawlines in men, or even sometimes women, or NBs. You get the point, in people. Some people are attracted more to the eyes. Some people are attracted to skin tones. Like I know there's a lot of people who really love like olive skin tones, for example. And it's like you can't necessarily help what you find attractive. It's just a natural chemical reaction in the brain, kind of. And again, I find her to be very attractive. And I'm almost never going to actually call someone like outright ugly. Because that's fucking rude. I do find her attractive, just nowhere near to the level they were trying to make it seem like she is here. And again, that's me. That is my perspective, my viewpoint on beauty, my interests, my what I find attractive. Here, I'll give you some examples of celebrities that I find to be extremely attractive. Just as an example. I know it's not as comparable because, like, I'm going to name a few male celebrities here first. But, like, Ewan McGregor and Idris Elba are peak male attractiveness to me. And I could not tell you why. I can't tell you why I find them so hot, but I do. I find both of those two to be extremely attractive. Okay, you want female examples? How about Jamie Lee Curtis? I know, older example, but still. Jamie Lee Curtis. Super fucking gorgeous. In her older age currently, when she was younger. Like go watch like Halloween H2O. She's so pretty. Trying to think of another example off the very top of my head. It doesn't always work that easily when I'm just trying to think of it like randomly off the top of my head. Oh, what is her name? Oh, There's a movie I reacted to on the channel. Um, that I really liked this movie. It's actually one of the few movies I consider perfect. Yeah, Love Lies Bleeding. What's Kristen Stewart's co-star in that? The her co-star in that I find to be like excessively attractive. Basically, how they described Lucifer's mom in this, Katie O'Brien. Katie O'Brien. Here, let me see if I can try to show you a screenshot. I'm gonna try here. It's not always easy to show on my phone because of lighting issues and all. I'm gonna turn down the lighting though. See if that helps. Okay. It is not helping because there is a glare coming from the window. Oop, that kind of helped a little bit. This is Katie O'Brien from the movie Love Lies Bleeding. She is drop dead gorgeous. She is what I would consider to be excessively attractive to me. Um, that's more, I guess, my type. And again, nothing against this actress at all. But it's like I find like other actresses like Felicia Day to be more attractive. Hell, Mazikeen's actress I find more attractive than her, personally. It's all perspective though. That's the point. Different people are going to be attracted to different things. That's just how it works. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just they were so aggressively pushing that in the episode. They're like so aggressively saying like she's so drop dead gorgeous, like she's so like obscenely attractive, and walking around in like Mazikeen's like skimpy clothes and everything, or the part where she just strips, and it's like I don't see it. Maybe that's just me. um, I don't know, but it's like they really hammered that in. I really like the stuff though with oh my god, I always forget her name. The the therapist and Amenadiel. I really liked their scenes in this episode. I feel like they were just amazingly acted and like really got the writing and character work like down pat in a way that wasn't entirely done for the other characters in this. Because let's be honest, this series does suffer from what I like to call CW syndrome. And what I mean is, if you've seen like a CW show, especially considering this is a comic book series, you can compare it to the CW Arrowverse shows. There's a certain level of dramatic fakeness, for lack of a better term, that these shows have, where it's like these people are not acting or talking like human beings at all. You know what I mean? No human being talks and acts like this. It is so actively fake. But it's done in that way because it's dramatic and entertaining. It's a style of acting that you see in these kinds of shows, CW shows and whatnot. And it's a specific style of acting where it's like no one acts like this. No one talks like it. No one would say that line like that person said it. And this episode had quite a bit of that. It really did. Both with characters that we've had before, but also new ones like the mom. It's like her actress was kind of hammy. And that's why I like the scene with Amenadiel and the therapist so much, because that was two of the most genuine scenes in this episode that actually felt real. The scene where she's like like basically snapping at him for the way he treated her and the lies and everything. And then later on, the scene where he apologizes and everything, those two scenes, both actors felt like actual fucking human beings. That felt like I was in the room with them and entirely bought into their line reads. And this is not always a bad thing, this dramatic fakeness, by the way, because it's entertaining. Tom Ellis is probably a best example of that for this series. Because Tom Ellis absolutely does not talk like a fucking human being. Like, in any way, shape, or form. It's like you see him, the way he acts and talks in this series is so ridiculously unrealistic. But he is a character who so actively can get away with that because he's Lucifer. Because he's literally Lucifer, literally Samael. He can get away with doing this because he's not supposed to feel like a human being. It not only works, it's almost essential. And Tom Ellis pulls it off so excellently. He's so good at that style of acting that it's necessary for him to be like that. It was more notable in this episode with other characters because either they're not always like that, like Chloe. Her actress is not always that hammy as she was in this episode in terms of line reads. Or they're new, and we just haven't gotten used to them yet. Like Lucifer's mom. Though, again, she's a celestial being. So to be fair, it's not really a case of being able to fault her for that either. But again, it's also new, and we've only seen this performance from her in this episode. So, still a very different thing we're not used to. Nonetheless, I still enjoyed this episode, even with all the hamminess, even with all of the dramatic fakeness, the CW syndrome. When it was focused, I need to specify. Because the biggest problem with this episode, more so than the last, because the first episode of the season it's like, okay, you're reintroducing things, and obviously you have the story starting, so it makes sense in that case. But here, I really could have used without the case of the week bullshit. I really could have used this episode not having that. That was so fucking distracting. I understand it makes sense, like, ideologically, because, like, okay, we're going to have Lucifer's mom taking over this dead body. How are we going to explain the body? Who is the person whose body this is? I actually think it would have been more fun if we just didn't fucking know. Or hear me out. What if that was a recurring thing throughout the season? What if, like, nobody could figure out whose body this was supposed to be, and they were trying to figure it out all season long? Like, it was some big recurring mystery throughout the season to try and find out whose body she's in. That would be wild. Or, even better yet, what if she just kept switching bodies the entire season? She was never in the same body for 2 different episodes. That would just be fucking fun. Very confusing to a lot of people, which is probably why they wouldn't do that, but I think it would be fun. But having this episode get off the rails at points felt very distracting to me. Because it's like you have the stuff with them, you have the stuff with Amenadiel and everything, but then you just go to this, like, case of the week bullshit that just feels so needless. It's like it I understand that's kind of what this show does. It has a case of the week and maybe recurring stuff alongside that. Like, season 1 did it with this entire case with Malcolm, was his name, I think? and the mystery surrounding how that case went down, and with Dan and everything involved, Chloe involved. It's like, what really happened? Who was the mysterious person? All of that jazz. All of those questions was a recurring thing throughout season one, as well as Chloe like seeing little hints of Lucifer telling that he'd been telling the truth, seeing hints of his demonic powers and stuff, while you still had the case of the week. And for a first season, that really works. But there's a certain point where it's like, okay, at least for this episode, you could have cut that out. You did not need the case of the week bullshit. It takes away from the stuff that I actually want this episode to focus on. And because of that, the stuff that the episode should have focused on feels like it just didn't have as much time to shine as it could have. And I mean, I also understand that probably the reason why they still kept it in outside of that, outside of just being that's how the show is also because Lucifer didn't trust her and everything, and he needed like some outlet to try and prove her wrong, try to prove that she's lying and everything. And so having this mystery of this case was kind of his outlet to figure things out and to deal with his own personal issues here. But again, I don't feel like it felt integrated in right. It was exceptionally distracting and really just broke my immersion with the actual main stuff going on. That's my only issue with this episode. Because when we actually got to the main stuff going on, it was like great. Even with the cheesy acting and dialogue and stuff, it was super fascinating and kept my attention. It's just when it broke away from that. And again, I'm including Amenadiel's stuff, like with the therapist and all, in there with the main stuff. Because that's big, main, recurring story stuff. Also, I still don't trust this fucking forensic scientist. This lady is too fucking suspicious. I don't trust her. I don't think she's necessarily a bad guy, but she's something. She's not normal. And she's definitely like notable. Because they're really focusing on her. And specifically how religious she is. And how she interacts with the others around her through that. So she's important. I have no idea how, but she doesn't necessarily weird me out. But she gives me this uneasy feeling. My only guess is that she's maybe another angel. And obviously, do not tell me. Do not even hint at the answer to that. I do not want to know that ahead of time. Whatever the answer may be. But I would love to hear your thoughts nonetheless, so tell me what you thought down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.